Well, here is the whole tail. Right now I have it hooked up with pneumatic cylinders to drive it, and also I'm able to pressurize the air springs so you'll be able to see how they function. There are two sets of them. There's one set here and another pair here. And then the pneumatic cylinders are hooked up to the steering section. There are two of them. The seat clamps and those pieces of aluminum are just there to keep the steering section from moving because the linkage isn't hooked up. Right now, there's no air pressure going to the springs or the cylinders. So you can see that basically they just move in and out, and they allow the section to move without any resistance. That is the same over here. The reason that one is extending is the other one is being compressed, and since they're tied together, the air is forcing the other one out. So right now, the tail moves without, really without any resistance. Now I'll turn on the air, and that motion was caused by the pneumatic cylinder pulling the tail over. But right now, there's still no real resistance on the air springs. As I said, there was no air pressure in the springs, but I will show as I increase the pressure, the springs have now extended equally. And you can see they give a little resistance to the tail. As I pressurize the next section, you'll see it straighten out also. The two springs, or two sets of springs, are holding the tail in a straight line. So as you pull back or give any resistance to it, they will return it to straight position. Right now I have about 10 pounds of pressure going to each pair. With an 1.5-inch bore cylinder, that gives me about 15 pounds of spring force. This is not completely accurate doing it in air because the resistance of the water causes the tail to move a lot slower. But nevertheless, it'll give you an idea of the function of the springs. I can increase the pressure of the springs to where one section is almost completely rigid. Or Part of the problem is being sure that the tail is completely over to the left or the right before you start the swing to the opposite direction. If this were going to be completely pneumatically operated, I would have little pneumatic limit switches that would not allow the main drive cylinders to shift positions until the tail was completely over, like this. Now also here, the tail isn't, the middle section, the pressure is a little bit low. Okay. Can also increase the pressure to the springs. You see that there's virtually no movement. Now, although in the air, once again, there may be no movement, but with the resistance of the water, you will get some deflection. Part of the tuning of the tail is getting the springs adjusted properly for your speed and